following program is sponsored. The opinions and statements made by the hosts and guests do not necessarily reflect the views of WBOB or its parent company, the Chesapeake Portsmouth Broadcasting Corporation.
It's time for Real Estate Radio with Angela and Howard. Angela and Howard talk about what's new in real estate and answer your buying and selling questions. To participate in today's show, call 222-TALK. That's 222-8255. And now, here are Angela and Howard.
Good morning, Northeast Florida. As you can tell, I am not Angela. I am Christine Kennedy. You've heard me before on the radio show, applywithchristine.com, and Christine's with the K. So I'm happy to be here, happy to help out while Angela and Howard are off doing what they do. My co-host today, I'm so excited to have him here with me. It's Norman Hanania. He's a veteran of the mortgage industry with over 20 years experience. He served in secondary marketing, sales, and he climbed all the way to the top to executive management. So I want to say, everybody, welcome. Good morning. Hi, Norman.
Good morning. Hello, everybody. Hello, Northeast Florida, and welcome to the Real Estate Radio Show.
So today we're going to talk about all different kind of things. We're going to, of course, talk about interest rates because that's what I do. We're going to talk to you guys about, how to get the best rate on your loan and teach you a little bit about interest rates that, maybe you didn't know, the why behind the why, the N behind the N, and, help us get there. Later today, we have Wes Parker. He's a local appraiser with Northeast Florida. He works for Performance Appraisals. He's also been in the industry for 20 years. And he's going to give us the ins and out of the real estate, what we can do for properties, what realtors can and can't do. And I'm excited to have him here with us. Super excited to be talking to Wes. We're going to also talk about interest rates, specific interest rates. 30-year fixed, if you guys are interested. 30-year fixed rates right now are about 4.6%. 15-year interest rates are 4.25%. And then VA and FHA rates are mid-4s, like 4.5, 4.6. So we're going to talk the different terms and everything else. But just to give, Angela and Howard always like to start off with the Fannie Mae rate, so we want to kind of keep that the same. Christine, I'm super excited today. I know today we're going to help a lot of people understand the mortgage industry, understand exactly what goes into the process, because I know that's your kind of background and forte, as it was mine as well. And so today we're just here to kind of answer a bunch of questions. So if you guys have a burning question about the mortgage industry, please reach out to us at 904-222-TALK, 904-222-TALK, and we'll be glad to answer your questions. But hopefully by the end of the program, we will have answered a bunch of questions, because I think preparing for this show, we've taken some time to kind of just pull together a bunch of questions of what we've heard over the years, right, with all the experience we've had in the industry, and be able to kind of answer a bunch of burning questions with regards to real estate and what affects your credit score, and why, what's the difference between, a 30-year loan, 15-year loan, and other things like that. So if you do have any burning questions, please reach out to us during any one of the segments today. But I think the next segment, I'm really excited to be talking to Wes Parker. I know Christine and I are, just about the entire appraisal process, because I know that process can get complicated. And I know many of you guys have always wondered, especially if you're a new homeowner, you've always kind of questioned the appraisal. It's always come up as an issue. And so I think he'll be able to kind of chime in and talk to us about kind of why he does what he does, and kind of as I say, he's going to be basically pulling the curtain back and letting us know what happens behind the curtain, and providing us with some good insight as we move forward. It's interesting when we talk about appraisals. Buyers think that their houses are worth one thing that they're buying. Sellers think that their property is worth another thing. And then the lender, of course, is paying an appraiser to give the third opinion on what it's actually worth. Correct. So it's really interesting to watch an appraiser, and, the house is on the market for one thing, the buyer writes a contract for another, and then the appraiser comes in and, compares it to other homes that have sold in the area. And next thing you know, here's this appraisal. Well, depending on who you talk to, the appraiser comes in and either kills the deal or makes the deal happen, right? We've had that happen before. I think we've both, Christine and I, have had over our years of experience. We've had, appraisals come in, especially in a tumultuous market when things are up and down. That's when appraisals either tend to be lagging
But it's the lenders basically. It's basically their insurance to know what that value is, because obviously the seller wants to get as much money as they can, right?
And the buyer wants
to pay as least amount as possible. And the only one that's out there really to protect the lender, the person really writing the check, is the appraiser. And so I think that when Wes comes on in the next segment, I think he's really going to help us out because of his years and years of experience. And so it's just a matter of, understanding a lot of that. So hopefully, like I said, for many of you, if you don't own a mortgage now, or if you've never gotten a mortgage, or if you're in the process, wherever you are, obviously, we love Howard and Angela. So if you're not working with a realtor currently, you probably need to reach out to them. I absolutely love those two to death. And then obviously, if you're looking for a mortgage as well, I know Christine herself has been in the industry for many, many, many years and kind of knows it like the back of her hand. And that's really what you want if you're out there looking for that. So as we go through today, Christine, the one thing I was kind of wanted to, as most listeners, loyal listeners, they're probably wondering.
Hundreds and hundreds and thousands and thousands.
Absolutely.
It just keeps on building because they're so awesome.
Exactly. I know many of them are probably surprised to hear us on the phone, us on the radio.
Who's that? Who's Christine and Norman?
Right. But
where's Angela and Howard?
Oh, exactly. Where are they? And so hopefully I know that, I don't know where they are, but I can tell you, I can tell you they're out there working hard for all of their clients. And, so they're just, every now and then they're allowed to take some little time off and
realtors never, not those two. They're always working.
They are always working.
Always.
They're
hustling.
Always hustling.
Or studying for the real estate show, or reading newspaper articles and seeing what kind of added value that they can bring to their, loyal listeners.
They're an amazing team. I can tell you, just in my experience with them, they've done done well for all of their buyers and sellers. So if you're ever interested in putting your house on the market, you want to make sure you reach out to those two. But anyway, as we go through this and we talk about, I'm really excited about this program today and talking about the mortgage industry. You and I have so many years of experience, and there's probably, we've probably forgotten more than most people know. But I think as we go through this process, we will be able to kind of answer a lot of the burning questions with regards to mortgages that kind of seem complicated,
yes.
Right? And people think that it's complicated when it really isn't. It can be super simplistic when you really kind of look at the situation, or when you look at it from the standpoint of, how it originally originated. You had a buyer and a seller, and then you had people needed money to buy the house. And then, of course, the banks come in and start lending money. And the banks need to, of course, as the old adage goes, he who has the money kind of makes the rules, right?
They kind of win, right?
They do win.
Their money, their rules.
Their money, their rules. And so I can tell you that, so we'll discuss a lot more of that throughout the program. And again,
And if anybody's looking to, get started and you don't know how to get started and you have no idea, what's a mortgage or what that looks like, my website is amazing. It's applywithchristine.com. Of course, if you want to give me a call and you want to know how to get started, my cell phone is 904-514-6969. And I would love to help if you have questions on, I really want to buy a house this year. I really want the dream of home ownership. I really want to get my own appraisal. Give me a call and then, or check out my website for loaded information that we're not going to be able to cover today, because there's just an hour is just not enough time to cover exactly how you get started and buying your home year end's coming up. So if you wanted to buy a home this year, people need to get to stepping.
You need to get going.
And they can still do it. They can still get it on now. Mortgage process takes like 30 days, and so they can start right now and be in their home by the time, Thanksgiving comes around.
Yeah, you won't be disappointed. And so I think that she's done well. She'll take care of you. I can promise that. So, as we kind of move on throughout the program, as we talked about before, we'll be, after the break, we'll be talking to Wes Parker, who will be calling in on the show. And so we'll be talking a lot of appraisal type stuff. And then stay tuned, because we may have some more juicy details about the mortgage industry and maybe about Howard and Angela as well, if we've got time for that.
But up next, all your questions with Wes Parker. He's going to answer everything. He's on the phone now, so we're excited to talk to him. So don't go anywhere. Make sure you definitely come back and hear everything that you possibly wanted to know about an appraisal process.
And please don't forget to call in with all your burning mortgage questions. 904-222-TALK. 904-222-TALK. So give us a call as we move into the break and talk about, like I said, answer any questions and talk about all kinds of good stuff. Take care, guys.
WBOB listeners, it's your realtor on the radio, Howard Vergalis of Watson Realty Corp. Angela and I don't just do the radio show, we are active realtors. When it's time to buy, we will interview you to determine your specific housing needs. Distance to work, style of home, school needs, distance to place of worship, kids' activities, lifestyles, number of bedrooms, budget, and so much more. In short, we do our very best to find you your perfect home. We won't waste your time showing you houses that don't fit your needs. Whether you're moving up, moving into your first home, or now an empty nester, you can trust us for the most important purchase of your life. It's what we do. It's what we'll do for you. Experience the Angela and Howard Team Advantage. Call us at 421-7950.
Hi, I'm Christine Kennedy, and in my 20 years as a loan officer, I've helped over 1,000 families finance their home right here in Northeast Florida. To get your fast, free, and easy pre-qualification today, you can visit my website, applywithchristine.com. That's Christine with a K, or you can call me directly at 904-514-6969. That's 904-514-6969. At Watson Mortgage Corp, we help deliver the keys.
NMLS ID 140780. Florida Mortgage Lender License MLD 716. An equal housing lender. Angela Walker and Howard Vergalis of Watson Realty Corp not only come to you every Saturday morning, but they would also like to work with you when you need them the most. That is, when you need to buy or sell a home. They pride themselves in giving you their very best effort every day and in every way. There are many realtors in the First Coast to choose from. Let them show you the Howard and Angela Team Advantage. Call them at 421-7950 or email them at realestateradio@yahoo.com. Are you buying a property being sold by HUD? As a buyer, you can select Watson Title Services of North Florida as your settlement agent. Avoid having to deal with out-of-town companies and make sure you get the world-class customer service of Watson Title Services that Angela and Howard have come to expect. Call them at 461-3220 when you're looking at buying a HUD property to ensure your purchase goes through as smoothly as possible. That's 461-3220. Angela and Howard do.
Want to sell your home in less time for more money and without making repairs after the sale? Have your home inspected by Home Pro Inspections before it goes on the market. Since 1994, Home Pro has inspected over 35,000 local homes. Buyers trust Home Pro Inspections.
With an 18-month home warranty and a 5-year roof protection plan, your home will be the one buyers want to buy. Call Home Pro Inspections at 268-8211 or visit GoHomePro.com.
This segment is brought to you by Watson Mortgage Corp. For answers to your North Florida real estate questions, call into the show at 222-TALK. That's 222-8255.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Real Estate Radio. My name is Christine, and my guest host today is Norman.
Good morning, everyone.
And we're hosting for Angela and Howard as they are off selling some real estate somewhere. This segment, we get to talk to Wes. And Wes, why don't you say good morning, and why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and give everybody an introduction. We've got lots of buyers, lots of sellers, and lots of realtors listening.
Good morning. This is Wes Parker, owner of Performance Appraisals. I've been in the business about 20 years and just been doing appraisals in the Northeast Florida area for St. Johns County, Duval County, Clay County, almost even for the most part, but I'd say more Duval County and St. Johns County in the last 10 years. I've worked with Christine Kennedy for probably, I don't know, Christine, how long, about 10 years?
It feels like a really, really, really long time, but at least.
Maybe longer even, actually. I think Watson was one of my first big clients that I got on board with here locally, and always enjoyed working with Watson Realty and Watson Mortgage, and it's been a very good relationship.
Yeah, well, December will be 16 years for me. So
wow.
Yeah, it's crazy how just, time flies. And for everybody that's listening, why Wes is my favorite appraiser on the planet is because he does trainings. Like, he comes to the real estate offices and he really focuses on teaching people what they need to know so that they have the best experience, whether they're a realtor and they want to know what to give, an appraiser, what they can or cannot do, whether they're a seller and they have questions about upgrading or not upgrading, or whether they're a buyer. And, buyers really have hundreds of questions for appraisers. Wes has always answered his phone, answered his emails, answered his text, and really just went above and beyond. So, Wes, I want to take this opportunity publicly to say thank you. You mean a lot to me, and you've really helped my career. And, of the hundreds of transactions that we've had together, you've always just really, really did the best job you can. So, publicly, thank you.
Thank you so much, Christine. I can absolutely the same to you as well. You've been a big, big help to my business as well, and I really, really appreciate it.
So let's start off with, we can talk about whatever you want to talk about, but I did have a couple of questions. It seems like everybody wants to know, what are the basic items that affect an appraisal?
Well, the big thing is just making sure you're in line with what the trends are currently. About every 5 years or so, trends change somewhat, in some cases significantly, but the biggest thing is just to kind of make sure that you're in line with what people are looking for, what the typical buyer is looking for in the market, currently or today, and then, keeping it in price, in terms of upgrades or improvements, that you don't over-improve or over-upgrade.
Can we pause right there? Is there some don'ts that you want to teach my buyers or sellers or realtors, or are there any don'ts of things what not to do?
Yeah, and, the biggest thing is, and you can get with your realtors to make sure of some of this, or appraisers, and, kind of check it out before you do upgrades or an improvement. And the biggest thing to do, it does tend to go with each market or even a community, in a lot of cases, with what your price ranges should be in terms of your improvements and your upgrades. And the best thing to do is maybe if somebody's considering doing improving a house or updating or renovating a house, get with a realtor that's in that market that you're comfortable with, and have them do a comparable search and get a good idea of what the price range in that community would be. So, particularly for your square footage house, so you don't over improve. Obviously, you want to make sure there's so many different levels of countertops and granite counters and cabinetry, flooring, and so forth. So you just want to make sure that you're in the level of upgrades that won't put you over the price range of being able to resell the house. A lot of people get caught up and they want to make the house, exactly the way they want it, particularly, specific to what they like. And you just have to be careful that you don't do things that won't help you in the future when you want to resell the house.
Agreed. It's really interesting, by the time we get the appraisals in, and to back up, when the seller's wanting to put their house on the market and they think that their house is, say, worth, $500,000, and then the realtor comes in because, they bought it at whatever price that they bought, and then they spent, $25,000 on a kitchen and $75,000 on a pool and, $15,000 in flooring. And then the realtor gets to be the first one that's the messenger and says, well, the upgrades are not dollar for dollar. You might have spent $100,000 on an upgrade, but it doesn't always take it up a dollar for dollar. And then, of course, the appraiser comes in as the second opinion and, says exactly what it's worth. And it is sometimes a letdown when somebody's made the house exactly like they want it and put all the upgrades in, and it's the most beautiful kitchen you've ever seen. But it just doesn't always hold the value. So that's one of the things I wanted to just educate everybody is, to do the research and make sure that if you are planning on selling your home in a 3 to 5 year period, don't over upgrade. Make sure you get a licensed realtor with you, get an expert on your side, call an appraiser, have them, do an appraisal on your home and give you the advice that you need, because you definitely want to make sure that you don't over improve. And what Wes is meaning for his community is, you pick the neighborhood that you're in. So Wes, why don't you explain when comparables, you use the word comparables, what do you compare? If you're going into an appraisal, and you're going into a home, what are you comparing it to? Teach our listeners what that looks like.
Well, the number one thing is square footage. You want to make sure you're typically within 10 or 15% of the square footage of the subject property that the subject property you're trying to put the value on. So That would be a big one. The other thing would be similarities and upgrades and improvements. It's depending on the age of the neighborhood. Like say for houses that built in the 1980s, 1990s, nice homes, still being well maintained. But then you have some that obviously at that age are going to be improved and updated and renovated and so forth. So what you're doing is, if I go in a community like that, for example, I'm pulling houses that have the similar upgrades, similar updates, similar location. View has a lot to do with it. If you're in a golf course community, got to be in comparable, or the subject property is on a golf course view or a water view, whatever the case may be. You have to pick comparables most similar to that house. So the range that you want to go outside of within that particular community, especially if it's a neighborhood like a PUD, where you have a lot of homes, high density, go within about a half a mile range. Some of the mistakes I see people make is they like Zillow and some of these other automated processes for values, they'll just take a range about a mile out, and it doesn't matter if it encompasses communities that are higher end or lower end or whatever the case may be. So you just got to make sure you stay particular to that market. You're not going out of that immediate price range and community.
And that's wonderful. It's a good point for you to bring up. That's really where, if you're planning on putting your house on the market, you really should get a licensed realtor to work on your team that can explain that to you. Because the Zillows and the Trulia and those automated systems, they're a system, they're a computer, and they just don't take in the human aspect of the reality of what your house is worth. So that's a huge point. So thank you for bringing that up. While we still have you, I just want to flip subjects and talk about the real estate side. What's the major points that you would give for my realtors that are listening? There's lots of them listening. What's the do's or the don'ts? What do you want them to do or not want them to do?
In terms of helping the appraiser?
Yes. What can they do legally and what can they not do?
Well, the big thing they have to be careful of is not talking or discussing value of the house. If they want to provide comparables that they use to set the price for that house, that's great, because we like to see what they have. Because if we do come in at a value lower than what the sale price is, and we don't have their comparables, we're not aware if we're missing something potentially. And I always, and I'm sure most appraisers also do, that we call the realtor and say, hey, can I get your comparables that you use to set the price?
So you like that, to confirm. So you like that. So if the realtors, yeah. But when you make your appointment to do the appraisal, if there's a folder for you with,
great idea.
Any other things that you would like the realtors to provide for you? I mean, you usually have a contract from the lender. Would you like the survey, or do you like anything else besides their comparables?
Yeah, survey is always helpful.
Okay.
Because that gives us a good idea of those. We pull a lot of that stuff from the tax records, but sometimes, as you know, the tax records can be incorrect. So the more information, really, the better with the appraiser, as long as they don't impede on the appraiser's process of appraising the house. They can do whatever they want to do. So, they can provide a lot of information for you. But the best thing, too, is that, each appraiser is a little bit different. Some appraisers like to have the realtor meet them there for whatever reasons, maybe to ask them questions or, whatever the case may be. But typically, I think most appraisers like to have that information sent to them via email.
Okay, that's great advice.
So they can evaluate the information prior to getting to the house, and then...
All right. Well, we just want to thank you, Wes, again. Thank you for taking your time on this Saturday morning and giving some great information. And I'll make sure that I put all of the below that we said in an email and send it out to my team. So hopefully the realtors can help you. And, again, the seller and the buyer have the best experience because, we're working together as a team. We've got the lender, we've got the appraiser, we've got the realtors. Everybody's working together. So hopefully you guys have the best experience. So, Wes, thank you again.
And if you have any, thanks, Wes. And then if you have any more questions that we couldn't cover with Wes, just remember when you call in, if we can't answer it ourselves, we'll make sure we get back with Wes and get you your answers. Right.
Wes, have a great day. And if anybody wants to get a hold of Wes to get their own appraisal, his phone number is 904-305-1436. Thanks, everybody. See you in a second.
600 101.1 FM. WBOB.
With SRN News, I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. President Trump told a campaign rally in Ohio last night liberals are not standing up for American values, but rather appear to be intent on tearing down the country and its heritage, expecting a battle of an unprecedented scale over his next Supreme Court nominee, Brett Kavanaugh. The president accused Senate Democratic leader Charles Schumer of having gone over the edge. Americans would appear to be divided on U.S. policy toward North Korea, another wrench thrown in the works yesterday when the president ordered his Secretary of State not to carry out his fourth trip to North Korea, saying that they're not proceeding quickly enough on the denuclearization process that was agreed upon. What used to be Hurricane Lane, it was a Category 4 storm at one point, is now just a tropical storm, officials downgrading it last night, but FEMA says it is still in place in Hawaii, as what's left of Lane could still dump a lot of heavy rains that could lead to some flooding and mudslides. This is SRN News.
Download WBOB's mobile app for free from your app store. Powered by Duval County Judicial Candidate Kimberly Sadler.
When our health insurance renewal notice arrived last fall, my wife and I made the decision to drop our plan. With the monthly premiums and deductible, we'd have to pay $30,000 just to use it. So we did our homework and switched to Medi-Share. The cost savings are incredible, over $500 a month, and we don't have to pay for services we don't need or don't agree with. Then, out of the blue, she had to have emergency surgery. Scary stuff. $150,000 in hospital bills. And Medi-Share members took care of everything. All we paid was our small portion. I'm a doctor who's been in healthcare for 20 years, and this is one of the most impressive programs I've ever seen. Thank God she's fully recovered. And now we're telling everyone about Medi-Share.
Call 877-64-BIBLE to find out how much you can save on your health care. Medi-Share. Call 877-64-BIBLE. That's 877-64-BIBLE.
Send President Trump a real partner in Congress. Businessman Judson Sapp. Rock-solid conservative. Pro-life. A-rated by the NRA. Judson Sapp will stand with President Trump. Cut taxes. Build the wall. Repeal Obamacare. Put America first. Rock-solid conservative for Congress. Businessman Judson Sapp. Citizens for Common Sense USA paid for and is responsible for the content of this message. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. CFCSUSA.com.
Z, the founder of the Original Tunas Restaurant, and Robert Rucab, owner of St. John's Seafood Restaurant, have teamed up. The result is a new national chain called Tip Top Chicken and Shrimp. Tip Top Chicken and Shrimp features the time-tested recipes of seafood and chicken and more. The first Tip Top Chicken and Shrimp is open at 847 Dunn Avenue, just west of I-95. The second will be opening in days at 101 Monument Road, just off Atlantic Boulevard. Tip Top Chicken and Shrimp, the best you've ever tasted. Now at 847 Dunn Avenue and soon at Monument Road.
Tico Sports presents the Spanish broadcast of the Jacksonville Jaguars. All season long, don't miss any of the games of the Jaguars 2018 season on WBOB 101.1 FM and 600 AM. Listen to the broadcast of the Jacksonville Jaguars in Espanol. This Saturday, the Jaguars will face the Atlanta Falcons with a broadcast starting at 6:45 p.m. Don't miss all the action, brought to you by Tico Sports with the voices of Javier Carrero and Victor Cora.
The latest traffic and weather on WBOB, your 2018 election authority.
Yeah, watch out for the crash at 95 south at the Fuller Warren, blocking that right shoulder. As for the weather, a little bit of rain in the offing. Next few days, about a 30% chance through Sunday night. Partly sunny days, though, with highs near 90 today and tomorrow, with a heat index on Sunday about 101, so stay cool. Mostly cloudy tonight, down to 75. It's 81, AM 600, WBOB.
Let's return to Real Estate Radio with Angela and Howard. For answers to your North Florida real estate questions, call into the show at 222-TALK. That's 222-8255.
Good morning, Northeast Florida. Thank you for tuning in to Real Estate Radio. My name is Christine Kennedy, and my co-host today is Norman Hanania. Hello, Norman.
Hello. Good morning, Northeast Florida. Yeah, and we're filling in for Howard and Angela, the dynamic duo that are off today. So every once in a while, they're allowed to take a. I don't even know if they're taking.
They're not off.
You're not off?
No, they're working.
You think so?
No, sir.
On a Saturday morning?
Absolutely on it. They do more work on a Saturday and Sunday than half the world does on a Monday through Friday in a 40-hour work week period. They crush it.
I was impressed with what they do during the week, but I guess on the weekend as well, they're kind of getting after it, I guess.
Yeah, they do the radio show every week, giving back to the community, giving their information of the things that happen during the week and what they have going on in their open houses. I can't wait to talk about that.
You know what's really amazing is when we were talking to them that they've been doing this for 6 years now?
The radio show 6.5.
Wow.
That's a long time.
That is a long time.
To give back to the community. Yeah.
They have, and they've educated a lot of us. I know I've listened into the show several times, and it's always wonderful to hear their knowledge.
I think Angela has been in the industry. I'm 16 of working for Watson, and she was there before me. So I think she's 20 years into the industry.
That's fantastic.
That's insane.
That is insane.
Howard's like 10. They know everything. They're brilliant. Yeah.
They really are know their stuff, I can tell you. I mean, I've been in the industry for over 10 years, as you know, and even then when I'm listening to the radio show, I'm still surprised at some of the information that they share. There's just these little nuggets that I would have never, didn't even think.
Last week, fogged windows. Who knew?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
No idea.
Fogged windows. Who knew that had something that affected the value and that actually they didn't need to be replaced by certain lending standards.
I know.
But it's
how great was Wes?
Wes was awesome. I always love talking to Wes Parker. I don't know that Wes and I have ever done business before, but because I was on the corporate side of things, not that I wouldn't have used him, but I know I've seen his appraisals before come through on the corporate side of things, and he has just a tremendous. I was really pleased when Christine and I were talking, and she told me she had gotten Wes Parker as a guest for the show today, and so I know that last segment, for those of you that are just tuning in, the last segment we talked about appraisals, and Wes Parker with Performance Appraisals was answering just a bunch of burning questions. I think we could have probably talked to Wes for the whole hour.
I could have.
Very easily.
Easily.
And so he just answers a lot. And there's always those burning questions. And if ever you have questions about an appraisal or have questions about why things are the way they are, you can call into the show and we'll try to answer it as best as we can. Again, 904-222-TALK. But if not, we can always get you the answers, or we can go directly to Wes and get those burning questions. But I was amazed at what he was talking about with the changes that have occurred in the appraisal process. We'll just talk about that a little bit more before we switch into kind of the interest rate type stuff, which is the next topic. The thing that I was really amazed at is just how much the appraisal process has changed just over the years. And I think that was really surprising for a lot of people, is that back in, I think during the economic downturn of 2008, there was a lot of changes in regulations, and we won't bore you guys with all those details.
Yeah,
trust me,
regulations.
It is icky. Exactly. But with
Let's
all
stick
those,
to the fun stuff of putting my new pool in and what's going to happen to the value of it.
We will get to that. We will get to the really, really burning questions, because believe me, we're as a matter of fact, as we're sitting here, we're getting text messages from realtors that have questions about interest rates and things like that. But real quick on the appraisal process, I think that was probably one of the biggest things that has changed since 2008, since the economic downturn. Because as you guys can imagine, there was a lot of confusion with regards to values of property, and the industry standards had changed to where the appraiser themselves were hired actually by the banks versus the I guess the mortgage loan officer or even the realtor, and that was done to kind of keep them, for lack of a better term, impartial. And it's had its, when you're in the business like we are, it kind of provides kind of creates a little bit of, I guess.
What I love about appraisals is that they're third-party opinions, right? It's not the buyer. It's not the seller. It's not a realtor's opinion. It's a true opinion. And the buyer pays for the appraisal. The lender orders it, and it's on a queue system. It gets ordered through a queue. So I can't go out there and just pick an appraiser. The seller can't pick the appraiser. The buyer can't pick the appraiser. And it's just wonderful. So it's a third-party queued system where we put in the information. An appraiser gets assigned. They go out there. And what I loved, I loved what he said that we could give them. Like, the realtors are encouraged to give them their comparables. Give them a copy of the contract, give them a copy of the survey, give them a copy of the floor plan if you have it, and give them your comparables. And he said he loves it via email. I mean, he said exactly what he wanted. So every one of the realtors, they can do that. And maybe if the appraiser's having a hard time with the value and if supporting it, at least that he has the information of what the realtors think that the house is worth. And it's just to give a better experience through the transaction, because an appraisal is the biggest piece of it that can train wreck it.
And you know what? That's great advice. And I think that, that's the one thing that I think a lot of realtors need to hear, that Wes shared with the whole listening group, audience out there, is that you can help the appraiser. A lot of times, keep in mind that, as Christine said, which is, it goes on a rotation basis. It's impartial. It's independent. It keeps I think the banks love this process more than anything else because, again, as we talked about before the break, he who has the money makes the rules, wins as well, but makes the rules. And because of that, I think that, it does keep the bank, because keep in mind, the banks aren't local. They're not familiar with the property at all. And they're out there, basically, their only eyes and ears on the ground is the appraiser. And so, again, as we were talking about in 2008, the whole system changed for the better in my mind. And it became an impartial kind of, it just made it fairer, I guess, if that's a proper word for.
That's a good word because it's fair. It's a third party opinion.
It is. Depending on which end of the transaction you are, but it can help. But I can tell you that, with that being said, as Wes was talking about earlier, you do order it. But then the whole information about having the realtors prepare some information for the appraiser, as I was saying a minute ago, helps them because they're going into a neighborhood that they're completely, if for lack of a better term, green. They don't know the area. And so if a realtor can help them with comps, as we say, right, in the industry, or comparables, and they can provide them and say, hey, look, I just want to bring this to your attention, or something maybe the appraiser is unaware of, or something that's maybe coming to the area, for instance, that may affect value, either a road coming in or something, additional access, or there's a lot of different factors that a lot of times the appraiser, it just helps them in their research as they.
And I love that he said, to get a realtor, right, for the advice so that you don't over upgrade. That's the best advice. You're wanting to do something different to your home, contact a real estate agent. If you're wanting to put your house on the market in the next year and you want to get it ready, quote, before you put it on the market, make sure you contact your realtor and go ahead and get their opinion, right? Because the last thing you want to do is spend thousands and thousands of dollars into an upgrade where you're not going to be able to sell it for that. So that was really good.
You're not going to get,
too.
That's right. You're not going to get that dollar for dollar, which everybody thinks, right? If I put in marble or granite countertops, right?
Spend $10,000.
Spend $10,000, then
you
I
get
can
5.
Exactly. Well, you can. Everybody's expecting.
Maybe you get 8. I don't know, but you don't get 10.
You don't get. But every seller feels that way. They feel like they can put it in and they get $10,000 of additional value.
Well, Christine thinks if you put $10,000 in, you should get 15 because it's so pretty.
Oh, good one. But that's a good point.
It's so pretty, isn't it worth more?
But it brings up a good point. It does bring up a good point. Like I used to instruct a lot of the loan officers I used to train and so on and so forth. They used to talk to realtors is that, the upgrades are nice, but the only thing in my mind is you're never going to get the dollar for dollar, right, kind of money back in it.
Never.
But what it does is if your house is there and it's being sold versus another house on the market, then your house, because it's got upgrades and because you have the nicer things, then it may sell quicker, right? If somebody's really debating over one from one house to another, they may be able to say, hey, you know what? I really like this one, because it does have nicer things and we don't have to spend the money.
And we don't have to, because some people do want to walk into the house that's already been completely updated and is beautiful and gorgeous.
That's right. So it aids in the speed, I guess, right, in selling the house. But I don't know that you get the dollar for dollar, and it's an investment, of course, as you know. And so, but if you get your house sold quicker because you've done some of those upgrades, right, and then the appraiser can kind of give you some value for that, very little, but they can give you some value for it, then it just makes it that much easier instead of it sitting on the market and, you having to lower your price.
I want to shift gears because we're going to have to take a break in a second. Next, we get to dive into you and your expertise of, how does credit affect an interest rate? How does loan to value, how much does the amount that you put down affect the interest rate? So up next, we're talking to Norman and tapping into his 20 years of mortgage experience and, really explain to all the borrowers how to get the best rate on their loan. So I'm excited to dive in and talk to you. Yeah,
I'm excited. This is my kind of my forte. But, stay tuned, guys, after the break. We're going to be, again, talking about a lot of the questions that I think a lot of borrowers have had, and even realtors. And because there's a lot of confusion with regards to loan terms and mortgage programs, but more importantly, the interest rates. And again, as Christine said, how does credit affect your loan and so on and so forth? And you getting the best rate or the term or one of the things like that. So hopefully I can demystify a little bit of that stuff for you. And
that's going to be exciting. It's going to be great value. I can't wait to hear what you have to say.
Absolutely. Well, make sure, guys, where this is a question and answer session, give us a call. Call us at 904-222-TALK, and we'll see you guys after the break.
Good morning, WBOB listeners. It's your Realtor on the Radio, Howard Vergalis of Watson Realty Corp. Angela and I want to thank you for tuning in with us for our 5th year now. It's been such a great pleasure to be on the radio with you, giving you advice on buying and selling, as well as answering your questions on the air. Thank you so much for the trust that you have in us as professional, experienced realtors with over 20 years of combined experience. We want you to know that when it's time to sell your home, we want to be your realtor. We will focus on your home, your family, and your time frame. Our team will customize a marketing plan to give you the best exposure to get you the best price and have the best selling experience possible. Whether it's a condo or a house, a short sale or a regular sale, a $200,000 home or a mansion, you will get the same great service. Call us at 421-7950 and join the multitudes of others that have experienced the Angela and Howard team advantage. Howard here. When it's time to buy your home, you need to get pre-qualified. We recommend Christine Kennedy of Watson Mortgage Corp. She can get you pre-qualified in less than 5 minutes. Call Christine at 514-6969. That's 514-6969. Or apply on our website, www.applywithchristine.com. That's Christine with a K. She'll get you through all the way to closing with great service.
NMLS ID 140780. Florida Mortgage Lender License MLD 716. An equal housing lender.
It's not the fire in the fireplace that damages your chimney. It's the moisture. That's why the Chimney Safety Institute of America recommends an annual cleaning and inspection of your fireplace, regardless of how often you use it. The technicians at Chimney Champions clean the chimney, then use the ChimScam video system to do a complete inspection of your chimney to ensure your home is safe. You can trust Chimney Champions to clean and inspect your chimney. Howard and I do. Call 268-7200 or visit chimneychampions.com.
One of the most critical parts of buying or selling your home is the very last process. That's the closing process. Angela and I recommend Watson Title Services. They have the experience to handle any issue that can come up, and there is never an upfront fee to the seller. Whether you are using a realtor with the sale of your home or not, always ask for Watson Title Service to handle your closing. We do. Call them at 461-3220. That's Watson Title Services. You know the importance of a home inspection before buying a home. But who should you call? Who can you truly trust?
We recommend the certified inspection experts at Home Pro Inspections because of the experience of their inspectors, an 18-month home warranty, and the Buy Your Home Back guarantee. Every Home Pro inspection includes a 5-year roof protection plan.
Do what Angela and I do. Call Home Pro Inspections, 268-8211, or visit GoHomePro.com.
This segment of Real Estate Radio with Angela and Howard is brought to you by Watson Title Services of Northeast Florida. For answers to your North Florida real estate questions, call into the show at 222-TALK. That's 222-8255.
Good morning, Northeast Florida. Thank you for listening to Real Estate Radio with normally Angela and Howard, but today you get Christine and Norman.
Hello, good morning, Northeast Florida.
Hello. So Howard just texted me that, yes, of course we're working.
Of course they are.
Of course they are.
You know them.
Yeah.
You know them. They can't stop. They can't stop working. So we just so hopefully one of these days we can convince them to take a little time off.
Yeah, I've had fun. Thank you, Angela and Howard, for giving us the opportunity to host for you today. It's been fun.
It's been great. Actually, this is my first experience, and I absolutely love it. So this is big shout out to them.
You're crushing it.
Well, so are you. So are you. So I think this segment, I know Christine had a bunch of burning questions for me with regards to interest rates, loan terms, things like that. What we call secondary marketing type stuff.
Mm-hmm. So what I love about Norman is that he's 20 years of behind the game, behind the loan officer, behind the underwriter, behind the lender's view of when I lock in an interest rate, he was behind it. He got the rate all the way to the investor, which is ultimately, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, VA, and FHA. He did all the behind the scenes, so he understands the why of the why. And I think it's important for my buyers that are listening, and there's lots of listening, and also my realtors listening, of how this is what happens. I just got fumbled on my nerves, but when somebody gets on bestrate.com, right, or they Google interest rates, or they look on a certain website and they see the interest rate, most of my buyers will just call in and say, "What's your rate?"
I hate those websites, by the way. I hate them.
And they don't understand exactly what they're asking, that there is not a rate. There's not just a flat interest rate. I mean, yes, there's tiers of what a 30-year rate is today, or 15-year rate, or an FHA, VA, but there's so much to going into. So what I would like to do is just tap into your brain and tell everybody, what is an interest rate? For example, specifically, how does their credit score affect an interest rate?
Great question. It really is a great question. I'll try to shorten up years and years and years of where we are in the market in about a 2-minute thing with regards to interest rates.
Yeah,
and then
take 20 years and break it down to 2 minutes.
Correct.
You
exactly.
can do it.
Yeah, I can do it. Real quickly, honestly, interest rate is just yield. If you think about it, guys, a mortgage is basically an asset, and surprisingly, what people don't even realize, and a lot of people in the mortgage industry and the real estate industry, and just everyone out there probably owns some mortgage asset or some mortgage, security in their 401k plan, and they don't even realize it. And what it is it's just like a bond. And so there's a fixed interest rate and a yield. So if you think about interest rates, that's all they are. They're set there as far as where the current market is from the standpoint of what the yield is for the ultimate investor, which can be you and I in our 401k plans. And so the market, I know when we say the market, kind of this ubiquitous market kind of sets the tone, it really does. And it's all based on, if I say one thing about credit, it's why interest rates, either why people get different rates.
If somebody has a 640 credit score or a 680, 720 or 740, I'm going to quote them a different interest rate.
Absolutely. And it has everything to do with one word. If you hear anything today, it's about risk. And what is that risk? And the risk is, quite simply, is the borrower going to make their payment? The borrower going to
They're not going to possibly not pay?
Well, I mean, all of your borrowers do. All of your borrowers do. And all of the borrowers we've all done have done that. But, in a perfect world, life hits us. And so real quickly, when it comes to credit score, the higher the credit score means that you've got a higher propensity, or what we call a respect for debt. That's kind of an old term, but that's really what it is. Does a borrower respect debt? In other words, when they take on debt, are they more likely to pay it off and pay it off before they do other things with their money?
And then really quick, how does the down payment, if somebody puts 5% down versus 10% versus 15 or 20?
Again, it comes down to skin in the game. Okay. I'll say it quite bluntly. The banks all want to see that you got skin in the game, and it comes down to risk again. So if you've got skin in the game, if you've got money in the transaction, you're less likely to walk away from it when times get tough.
So what gets you the better deal?
The better deal is obviously more money down. I mean, absolutely. I wouldn't put down more than 20% on a conventional loan at this point, because I don't know that you get that much more benefit from it. But if you do put down 20%, and your credit score is, I guess, above 740, and you know this better than I do these days, about 680 or higher, you're going to get the best interest rate, and you're going to be able to, you'll get the best interest rate. And then, but the flip side of it as well has to do again with, the differences between 30-year mortgage, 15-year mortgage. And it's all about, again, as I say before, it's all about risk. How much skin in the game do you have?
So a 15-year is going to be
a lower rate. Why? Because you're paying it off sooner.
Right.
You're paying it off sooner. And so there's less, the more that the lender has to sit out on the hook with their neck out on the line, with that mortgage
kind of $300,000 or $200,000 or
that's all.
Yeah, just a little.
But they're talking
a couple of hundred zeros.
They're talking hundreds of millions of dollars that they're investing out there.
Well, I have to cut you off because we have got to talk about the open houses.
God, I love talking about interest rates. You got me stuck on the interest rates. I guess we got to actually do business, right?
A little. We have 3 open houses that I want to talk about, and the first one is Saturday today between 4 and 6. 5325 Scattered Oaks Court in Mandarin. It's $285,000, 4 bedrooms, 2 bath, 2,000 square feet in Mandarin.
Wow.
For $285,000. How great of a deal is that?
What a gorgeous property.
It is gorgeous. It is gorgeous.
I hope you guys get out there and take a look at this and get to the open house today. From 4 to 6, right?
4 to 6. Tomorrow, 12 to 3, 8356 Royal Wood Drive. It's on the south side. $350,000. 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bath, 2,000 square feet on the south side for $350,000.
Wow, that is an absolutely gorgeous picture. If you guys go to the...
It's got hardwood floors, sunken living room, huge kitchen, bathrooms, lots of entertainment. This is the entertainment home. So.
This is the entertainment. See,
look, it says oversized closet.
Okay, I wonder what that. And then let's get to our favorite property.
I want to go see this Sunday, tomorrow, 12 to 4, 615 and 617 7th Avenue South. So it's a duplex.
In Jacks Beach. Jacks Beach, and it's a rental property, so you can live in one and rent one. But
that's what I was thinking. It's a duplex. So
what a great investment property.
I know, and it's blocks. It's blocks from the beach. You could wake up every morning and go for a walk on the beach.
What a great idea. I can tell you that this is, it's gorgeous from the pictures that it looks like. And so it's rental property. So if you guys are out there looking for
they can live in it. It doesn't have to be rental.
That's true.
It can be primary. It can be primary and rental.
Oh, I like where you're going with that.
You can live in one and then pay for your mortgage with the rental side.
Wow, as long as you go to Angela and Howard and talk to them about being a landlord, right?
Oh, we learned that last week.
We learned that last week too.
They know everything.
They
Yeah,
do know everything.
So make sure you check out today Scattered Oaks from 4 to 6, Royal Wood tomorrow from 12 to 3, and then tomorrow 12 to 4. 615 and 617 7th Avenue South. So
wonderful.
We're wrapping up. I just want to say thank you to Angela and Howard for the opportunity. And then, we do have a few minutes. So Norman, I'm going to go back to you. In a minute or two, how do people get the best deal on their mortgage?
Actually, the best deal, this is a great question. I've been asked this over the 20-some-odd years that I've been in it, and I can tell you I've worked for big banks and I've worked for everyone in between, and I can tell you that to me, if I was, and of course, I'm not in the market to get a mortgage right now, but I can tell you I would go to a correspondent lender or a broker. But a correspondent lender basically is like a Watson Mortgage, hence Christine Kennedy.
Oh, thanks.
And so what I like about correspondent lenders and mortgage brokers is the fact that they can actually shop the banks for you. And so instead of you going to just one bank, let the correspondent lender or the broker do that for you. And they can usually shop the best deal out there. They've got multiple opportunities to get you the kind of different loan programs. A lot of the stodgy banks sometimes are not able to offer. And so I just say, save yourself the time and effort. Really,
let me do it.
Yeah.
Let me do it.
Save yourself the time and effort. Go to Christine over at Watson Mortgage.
So it's applywithchristine.com, and Christine's with a K. And then, of course, I love to help all my first-time home buyers. I love to help my experienced buyers, my FHA, my VA. My cell phone is 904-514-6969. If you have the dream of home ownership this year, or you want to know what you need to do to plan for next year, 2019 is right around the corner.
Oh, my God.
It's crazy.
I can't believe you just said that. So, well, with that being said, make sure you give Christine a call. I mean, I know I would at this point. And so, again, using a correspondent lender and a broker, to me, that's the only way to go. Just make one phone call.
Let me do the shopping for you.
Oh, yeah, you do.
Happy Saturday. Thank you again to Angela and Howard. Thank you, Wes, for all of your help. Thank you, Norman, for joining me today.
Oh, this has been a treat. I can't wait to do this again. But again, I know we covered a lot of information. If you guys have any questions, I'm sure you can call into the show or just contact Christine at
904-514-6969.
And where can they apply?
Ooh, my website, applywithchristine, and Christine's with a K.com.
.com, and it's super simple, right?
Yeah.
And
you hit a button. It's called pre-qualify. Apply now. Click.
And they can get pre-qualified right there.
Absolutely.
And you can tell them exactly how much they can afford and the whole 9 yards.
What's the payment going to be? Everything.
Wow, that's slick. That's absolutely slick. Well, listen, guys, it's been a pleasure talking to everyone in Northeast Florida this morning.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're looking